So you want to do one of the greatest exercises in the world, the Zercher deadlift, but you don't know where to start. Don't worry, I got you. As always, this video is for educational purposes. Always consult a professional before starting an exercise program. The movement itself is pretty straightforward. You stand with your feet just wider than shoulder width apart, bend down, tuck the barbell into your elbow creases, and then stand up. Even though the movement itself is pretty simple, there's still going to be a couple hard parts. One of those is going to be flexibility, another one's going to be the pain of the barbell in your elbows, and the third one is going to be back strength, since you probably don't get to that end range flexion all that often. I like to start off by tackling the pain first, and it's largely going to be a mental battle. To overcome this, I start with Zercher holds. What you're going to do is you're going to load up some weight on a barbell in a rack, step up to it, put it in your elbow creases, and then just stand up. You're going to hold these for about 10 to 15 seconds, and you can regress these further by wrapping a towel around the bar, wrapping a shirt around the bar, or wearing your knee sleeves on your elbows. However, since you're going to be doing the Zercher deadlifts with your bare arms probably, I like to just do that for these. I'm going to be honest, the first 5 seconds usually sucks, and to get over this, a little bit of self-reassurance that the pain isn't going to last forever, that it doesn't mean damage is being done, and that you can overcome it goes a long way. After that first 5 seconds, it's just kind of normal. And after a couple of light sessions, you can probably start ramping up that heavier weight pretty quick, going to a weight that is getting you to actually max out around that 10 to 15 seconds. You only need to do a couple sets of these, and once a week should be enough, because you're also going to be doing work for the flexibility at the same time, and that'll also be toughening up your elbows. Now for the flexibility, there's going to be a few components that go into it. It's going to be your hamstrings, your adductors, your back. All these are going to need to be comfortable getting into the end range. You can do static stretches for these if you want, and they can be helpful. However, I find that just doing the movement and slowly progressing the range of motion is the best for it. This builds up your tolerance to the movement and increases your flexibility at the same time, so it's a little bit more efficient. To judge the comfort and gauge when you should increase the range of motion, I suggest using the 3 light system, which I've discussed in a previous video. Just swap pain with intensity of the stretch, and I suggest watching that video after you finish this one. So actually getting into increasing the flexibility for the movement, you can do this by doing the pull off of blocks. Just set up some blocks high enough so that you can comfortably get down to the weight, lift it up, and then slowly lower it down, controlling that eccentric, and sometimes even pausing at the bottom to really feel that stretch. Make sure that you're trying to touch the blocks at the bottom of each rep and not just hovering, and you can decrease the block height between sets or between workouts. Just like with the holds, you can start off light and focus on getting comfortable with the movements, again referring to that 3 light system on when to progress. Another entry point for this movement, and my preferred way to progress it, is to do it from standing. You start off just like a Zercher hold, unrack the weight, and then you take a step back from the rack so that you can lower it down to where you're comfortable, again controlling that eccentric and pausing at the bottom if you want to, and then coming back up. I like this because you can increase the depth between each rep and each set, and eventually by the end of the workout, you might even be doing a full Zercher deadlift. You don't need to be too crazy with the increasing ranges of motion, again referring to that 3 light system so that you're comfortable every time you increase. With all of the hate around spinal flexion in the world today, you might be a little bit scared increasing this at first. That's okay, give yourself some time to overcome that psychologically and then progress when you're ready. Some of the smaller muscles might also be a little bit weaker than your prime movers, so you might notice that it feels really easy to move the weight. However, those smaller muscles are a little bit more sore after the workout because they aren't used to being used that way. Thanks for watching. Now go out there and make some gains on your Zercher deadlifts.